Oh my goodness. Testing, testing, testing. Let me know that you can hear me. I'm actually on the couch. I didn't make it in today to the gym. My body is killing me. Killing me. Killing me. So I'm just getting myself together. Gotta get ready for work, but at least I get to work from home today. So then there's that. Let me turn this down a little bit. Okay. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I see you. I appreciate you. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you are new. We got to talk. Wasn't even planning on going live really this morning because I just need to rest my body. But, child, listen, listen. This shit gets more and more crazier every day. It's more and more bullshit. Ringo is on right now. I swear this man has been on all night. I roll over. Shout out to Cellulite Podcast because he be on too. And these people just be on all night. But I guess somebody got to cover the night. But Ringo is talking about that audio. So, all right, hold on. Before I get into it, would you see on the back of the screen here, the background is a statement that Ben bitch ass ninja Crump put out to the colored community. Okay. He ain't put it out to nobody else. Right? Maybe the Hispanics now that he's down there working with the Ruiz case. Rest in peace to that man. Condolences to that family. Basically telling y'all where you need to have your focus at. Let me go ahead and show you because I just put it up. I don't know how long ago. Give me 1 second. My eyes are barely open. Here we go. So I brought it on over here to YouTube. This came from Instagram when I was looking at it this morning. And Ben Crump is telling you Negroes, because he ain't talking to me, where y'all focus needs to lie. This is straight from his page because I screenshotted it. And then if you hit here, I don't know if it'll show it. It'll show you everything. I'm only working on one screen because only on my computer. Okay, so it does show you the whole thing. So this is him, Attorney Crump, in his little thing that make you know it's official. It was suggested for me, probably because of the Nolan stuff. And this is from Instagram. And he says, now that we know where LeBron is playing next year, can we focus on what happened to Nolan Wells' attorney, Ben Crump? You heard? Negroes, colored community, FBAs, ebonies, chocolates, whatever you want to be called today, blacks, African Americans. Your black AG told y'all to get the fuck back in line and focus. Focus on what the fuck you supposed to be focused on. You hear me? So let me go down here so you can see that it's him. Because here's Attorney Crump, and that's what he said. And then here's his likes, his, all that shit that you do on Instagram. So that's why I made sure I would typically crop it better than this, but I wanted everybody to see what the hell it is. This is the point in everything that most of these people do. Ben just made the mistake, in my opinion, even though we already know the normals. I'm waiting for the trolls to show up. The normals, that it's about control and do what I say. And this is what we want you to do. Of course, there's money. Let's just put that to the side for a second. But it's also to be in charge and to be able to lead. What does they call it? A pig to slaughter or something like that? To tell you what you can and cannot do. Because as a black person, all in, you can't be focused on anything else. The only thing you need to be focused on is racism. Because that's what it all comes back down to. All right, it's not going to go back. That's what it all comes down to. And you can't focus on nothing else. Now, LeBron over there talking about sports, y'all can't be focused on that. Whatever's going on over here in different parts of the world, y'all can't be focused on that. What's going on with the war in Iran or any other war, wherever the hell it is, and anything that's going on with what is it? Illegals trying to get them on up out of here, the Somali fraud, all those things that used to be top of mind. Forget all that, okay? This is where you should be focused. This is the only thing that you need to be talking about. This is the only thing that you need to be concentrating on. This is the only thing where your mind needs to be. You heard? Because the AG for the Black community said so. How is this any different, in my opinion, than Ricky telling y'all you need to leave the country is getting bad? You need to leave the United States is getting bad. What's that other man? Larry telling y'all you got to go back to Africa now. Every Black person needs to now leave the United States of America and go to Africa. While Africans are saying, yeah, nah, we don't want y'all. They said, y'all don't know how to act and we ain't got time for your foolishness, but keep your asses on over there. That's a different live stream, but that's exactly what they were saying, okay? Now, Ricky's scared to get on elevators and be around all white people. He already said that you're about to be put in chains. Don't forget that. You got Rowley talking about, we trying to tell ya, we trying to tell ya, whilst also saying that Democrats don't do nothing for you but keep voting for them. But now they got paused because of the DSA. Then there's Joy Reid saying there's no more vote blue no matter who. Child, all this shit is political at the end of the day. It always is. It always will be. Ben gonna get paid. Let's not even get it twisted, okay? Ben gonna get paid. He over here, he over there. Has anybody heard him talk about Carmelo? So now the focus is Nolan. So does that mean there's no more focus on Carmelo, Ben Crump? Because, you know, for the trolls, I got questions. I always got questions. Y'all just follow along. So make sure y'all follow along, Ben. And the only thing that you focus on in your whole life is Nolan Wells' case. The all damn audacity of this nigga. Shout out to all of y'all that are here. Thank you, boo. I appreciate you. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. Azriel, thank you, boo. I see you. CJ Lopez, I see you. LGC, I see you. Cooley Cat, I see you. Tadisha! Tadisha, thank you for coming to work. Where is this in the code, Tadisha? If you can help us out. Where it says that the only thing that you need to do is do what I say, dash Ben Crump. That's it. You want a better life? Listen to Ben Crump. You don't know what to do? Wait on Ben Crump, the AG for the Black community as assessed by Al Sharpton. Grifty, grift. They're going to make the most of these tragedies. They're going to make the most of these tragedies. Get as much bang for your buck. All right, thanks, boo. Page 148. Get as much bang for the buck and keep these colors in line. You cannot do anything unless I tell you to. Focus on Nolan. Justice for Nolan Wells. Justice for Nolan Wells. Now it's justice for George Ruiz. Forgive me if that's not his first name. Justice for George Ruiz. What happened to justice for Carmelo? I'm serious. Is that out the window? Anybody got any updates? I keep asking. I don't see none of that coming up. Child. Lord knows I hope nothing else happens to anyone else. Black male wise, shout out to all you sassy straights, the black ones. Hopefully nothing else happens to any of y'all. I'm sure Ben will be on the case. Last night, if you was watching, shout out to Ask a Brother Podcast. Jeff said, if something should happen to me, do not call Ben Crump. Do not call Ben Crump for me. Now, I know that was probably blasphemy for a lot of people in the chat. The chat was off the hook last night. We got to go back and review that maybe later tonight, because I didn't get the opportunity to look at the chat, even though I knew the chat was chatting. I knew y'all was chatting, but the rest of the chat was chatting. You can only do what they tell you to do. Do what they tell you to do. You got to be totally encompassed in this case and nothing else. I don't know if you're allowed to talk to your family about anything other than this. I don't know if you're allowed to go on vacation. If you do, you probably should only go to Mississippi to help out with the case, unless you're Tatum, because Tatum is wrong. So Tatum focusing on the case, no, no, no. But Ben said, now that y'all know where LeBron is going, shout out to Philly, okay? Get your eyes back on the prize, but only if you're on our side. Anybody else, get your ass on up out of it. I'm going to go out on a limb on that. I just saw another post over on IG where somebody, it might be one of the blogs, I don't remember, where they said, thank God Nancy Grace is on the case along with some dude, that white guy that be coming up on TikTok, Sam, child, whatever his name is, the white man Sam. And I'm like, so this is where y'all at? Because a second ago, it was you boycotting white people. And now this white person is okay and this white person is okay. As long as it fits your narrative, then the person is okay. As soon as they don't, they all kinds of names. They ain't shit. They ain't no good. Because anybody that's following anything that Ben Crump says, that's why he can put this up clearly, quickly, and without hesitation to let y'all know that your mind needs to be on what I say it needs to be on. Being led, being told what to do. This is what I say, period. And if you talking or looking at into anything else, not allowed. Get your shit together. Get your shit together. I don't know who the hell y'all think you are, but you need me to tell you where your mind needs to be. This is so insulting. This is so fucking insulting. But to some, maybe it makes sense to them. Good for you. Shout out to RBN. Good morning, boo. He said, thank you so much. He said, Miss Shawn, I watched every minute of the Ask a Brother podcast from last night. Please invest in acting lessons. Your facial pause tells the entire story. Salute the scammer Crump. Get your what? Oh no, what are you talking about? I thought I was pretty even keeled over there. Even though we clearly can tell that everyone hasn't invested in getting facts in this story. But I'm gonna go and we're gonna look at that later. We have to look at that later. But I had to let y'all know. All right. You are, it's okay for white person Nancy Grace, white person Toucan Sam, I'm gonna call him. I don't remember his name. But what you can do is listen to Tatum. And sometimes you can't even listen to Stephen A. Smith, but I guess this time it's acceptable. I'm gonna get through this as much as I can. It says the Nolan Wells case, two very different perspectives. I don't even know if some people at minimum have looked at any of this. As soon as Tatum came out, oh, he's wrong, he lying, he for white people, he a coon, he a this, he a that. Child, so y'all just never, not y'all, you know what I'm saying. So y'all just never want to hear a different side of anything. It's only your way or the highway. I can't imagine how people ever get into trouble and have issues and never move forward when all they want to do is hear what they want to hear. This is the epitome of what we be saying with regard to relationships. You listen to the wrong damn people. You listen to people who ain't in relationships. You listen to people who are profiting off of the fact that you don't get into a relationship so that they can continue to make money. Don't look at all that. Just keep doing what you're doing and hopefully something will eventually change and you'll get what the hell it is that you want. For those that really want relationships. Oh, before I get to this though, let me go over here. Hold on, I'm all over the place. Hold on. I wanted to make sure that I showed y'all this from Instagram. Gentlemen, because we already know you ain't shit. So at my best, not 197. I don't know who that is, but made sure that this post got up that says only 6% of black men make six figures. That means 94% of y'all are out here lying. So allegedly, somewhere, somehow, somebody says 100% of black men make $100,000 or more. I love the fact that people always say six figures and don't recognize there's a whole range as far as six figures are concerned, okay? But It's always also a disparaging post. Good morning, Boo. Shout out to everybody that is here. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you are new. It's always something negative to say. And then we'll get up on this internet talking about all black men do is talk negatively about black women. Because I was listening to a panel yesterday where that is what they were saying. So you sassy straights as usual ain't shit. You ain't about shit. You ain't ever gonna be shit. And all you are is shit. All you are is shit, okay? But the interesting part about this that they don't want to recognize if this is a woman, right? And the odds are it is, and I don't really know. I can't. It looks like it might be a man. I don't know. Is that black men still make more than black women, regardless of what the hell it is that they want to say? Because all men in all races make more than the women do. This is what y'all supposed to be fighting for, though. Y'all supposed to be fighting for having equality for women. I'm just saying. But y'all still behind all women. Okay. But, lie all you want to. Speaking of, Queen, I was okay with Crimson's take until she hit us with the whole black on black crime is in the minority. So y'all ignorance can focus on that while we prioritize the white on black violence. Oh. Ooh. Okay. Okay, Queen, tell us how you really feel, boo. Let me read some of his comments. Let me stay focused. Let me read some of these comments. So the caption is the math ain't adding up. Not true. Every ninja on Instagram makes $1 billion, owns 10 mansions, 3 skyscrapers, and swear little baby owes him a bag. Now that's really typically not what we be seeing. I wonder what part of Instagram they on. What part of Instagram they on? Because that's really not men that I see saying this type of stuff. It's usually the biatches. I got a business. I make 6 figures and I need a man that matches what I do or more. That's typically what we hear. So this probably is a biatch, honestly. It says, well, the percentage could be more. Their financials just not being reported to the IRS. I work at a company that's predominantly black people. Nearly everybody clears 6 figures except for the people who are new. Girl, you're not allowed to say that. People overhype 6 figures. I still feel it ain't enough. Maybe I'm just not content in life. Well, if you're young, you need to work. So go ahead and keep going for the bag. Oh, but then again, if you're Anton, it's not okay to go for the bag. That means there's something wrong with you. Because I'm telling you, the community, and I said this last night, I think it was, or on one of my streams or whatever, that to be black, actually, I said it on Drip Show. Black people want black people to be downtrodden. Black people really do want other people to be downtrodden so they can say, oh. And then if you do make it, you're not supposed to leave. You're supposed to stay in said hood. Now, the fact that a lot of black people think that all black people come from scraps, the ghetto and the hood is amazing to me. Because I do not. So for people to act like it's crazy that I would be moderately successful, it's just weird because I need to be down there where the poors are. And yes, I'm saying the poors. So black people don't even realize enough of them in their brains think that all black people are poor. Whose fault is that? That's a you problem. That's a you perception. I'm not poor. Have I been? Absolutely. In ghetto poor? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But when you sit up here, allow Gen Z to talk about how they don't want to work, well, how the fuck they ever gonna get anywhere if they don't put no effort into anything? But to say that means that I'm being mean and that I'm just a Generation Xer that thinks that, or who had it easier back in the day. Yeah, I had it easier, making a total of $25 a day being paid once a month. Y'all miss me with all this bullshit. Like I said before, I say it again and a million one times on Sunday. Y'all want to do everything individually when life ain't supposed to be done individually. So you're making it harder on yourselves because everybody got to do everything that you say and then be finding out that y'all be lying any daggone way. But let's make sure you just go ahead and falsely focus it on the men who typically, for the most part, don't be out here saying this dumb shit. So y'all continue. Let me see. Y'all continue to, you're not black unless you've gone through the struggle. And that's exactly what the mantra is. But enough of them think that the struggle is supposed to be in the hood and in the ghetto and living amongst the shit that we see on Crime is Down nights. And the thing is that the celebrities that they listen to, just take Ben Crump for a second, because he ain't no celebrity, but he's the attorney general for the black community. They all in with him. They all hit, no matter what he says, he don't do no wrong. Not everybody, but the regulars, smegulars. They all in. He doing the damn thing. He the best thing since sliced bread. Where he live at? Bueller. Where does Ben Crump live? I'm not asking because I want to know, but I know he ain't living in no hoods. He ain't living in no ghettos, and he ain't living amongst a bunch of blacks. I don't give a fuck what any of y'all say. So you ain't got no smoke for him. You gonna follow him blindly. Y'all gonna do whatever the fuck this nigga says to do. Then gonna turn around talking about who you think you are, what you do to help the black community, what you gonna do. You ain't all that. You don't know the struggle. Oh, okay. Y'all don't know what anybody knows. But what I do know, with y'all all upset when a black person happens to be successful, let me go use Anton for example. And then you want to call him names and what a coon he is. Well, Ben Crump ain't living amongst a bunch of black people, child. Neither is any of these other people that you listen to. Rolly, Clown, Ricky, Joy, all the people y'all listen to while y'all talking about rich people and consumerism and how much money people have. It's just the picking and the choosing for me. It's just the picking and the choosing for me. Which is why we need Tadisha to give us the code, because the code don't make no damn sense. It's just whoever it is that you choose to be acceptable as black is what it is that y'all think it should be. Ain't nobody got time to be deciphering y'all's bullshit. Y'all take that bullshit on over there. What you saying over here, RBN? He says, did the good sis Crimson call those whose initials take that the friendship wasn't racial foolish? Did the good sis Crimson call those whose initial take that the friendship wasn't racial fool? I said on there that the parents. I said on there that the parents was saying that they didn't believe it was race. Shout out to Ms. AB, who sent me the video where the father said he didn't think it was racial. They gonna gloss all over that. Then we had the mama, based off of Michi X, when we watched her. That's why she was all riled up, because they won't say that it's racism. And to my knowledge, as far as I know, they still haven't said that they think that it's racism. They just let Ben talk and let him say what he want to say. And that's why some people are having issue. But some people are so focused on making sure that they get a win, is what I call it, against white people, that they just gonna go and ignore the things that are in their face and just keep it moving. Now, I don't know what she said last night, but I know that I initially tried to give them some information, but it's not enough time. It's not my platform. You know what I'm saying? So it's just clear and evident that there's a lot of people who don't have the information. They just don't. So it is what it is, right? Interesting show, interesting topic. I know that the audience was interesting. I didn't get to focus too much on them, but I know that the audience was interesting. But we'll take a look at that. Anyway, let me go over here and listen to Stephen A, because 1 minute he's acceptable, the next minute he's not. He a coon, he a this, he a that, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Kiana, that's starting to be a thing. That's starting to be a thing. But let me take as much of pause. Let me watch as much of this as I can stand. This is Stephen A. Smith interviewing Tatum and somebody else, child. We about to see.
2 days after going away with some friends on July 4th. A lot of people are talking about this story because, according to the reports, he was a black dude and he was the only black dude with a few white dudes, and they all came back alive and he didn't. Clearly, since that time, we've learned via reporting on the part of...
I was going to say, so that in its simplest form is what many people believe. It's just as simple as that. Oh, Nolan went out with a bunch of 6 or 7, 10 guys, 10 white guys. They came back and he didn't. Racism. without looking at any facts, without hearing anything. It's, this is what white people do. This is the power structure, and this is how it works. And then there's a judge, and then there's a this, and then there's a that. And it's like, oh, okay. Okay. That's why I conceded, like, maybe with the investigation portion of it, maybe it is some racism. I don't know, since they ain't said shit and gave out shit. I don't know how they come to that conclusion. I'm focusing on these boys in this relationship and what the hell it is that they saying. Because nobody seems to want to understand, see, and hear that the Walmsleys lived in Mississippi for so many years. They got community there. You know what the community talks about, having community? They have community there in that racist white Mississippi. It's the deep South, but they surely were successful now, weren't they? They was doing very good. Nolan was able to go with whoever he wanted to. He was able to be over here with these white people. He was able to be over here with these black people. He was a good boy. He was doing great things. And this is not anything I'm saying negative about him, because by all accounts, he really was a great, good young man. But now all of a sudden, it's because of racist Mississippi. Well, child, it couldn't have been too racist, because they definitely could afford to have left. She was doing well under Asians and I guess under black people. What we saw was Asians. I guess they didn't want to hear none of that. Nobody want to hear none of that. That's why asking questions matter, because if you don't have all the information, you're making a decision based off of some shit that don't make no sense. What Stephen A. Smith just said is the simplistic beginning of it, and so much has come out since then. But, let people just take the high level route and then look silly not knowing what the actual information is. But I digress. Come on, child.
Some people, via an autopsy report and other things, that there are some conflicting facts that need to be brought to light. And I think that it's time to have a discussion about this from the vantage point of two completely different sides.
Conflicting facts? What? What?
One is a conservative, one is a liberal, one's a former police officer, one is a civil rights attorney and a legal mind. It's a lot to get into, make no mistake about it. It's going to be Officer Tatum on the right. It's going to be Charles F. Coleman Jr., civil rights attorney, on the left. And there's clearly a lot of things to get into, conflicting accounts. One friend claimed Wells chose to stay behind to talk to a girl. Wells' family strongly disputes this, stating they raised him to never separate from his group. There's a boat issue. Phone records and dispatch audio indicate the friend's boat suffered a mechanical failure around 4 p.m. as they left the island. When calling for a tow, the operator stated everyone on board was in good health. There's also the issue of Nolan Wells' body being found after being reported missing by his mother near midnight. A multi-agency search was launched. A National Park Service ranger found Wells' body floating face down on the northwestern tip of Horn Island on July 6th. Again, civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump is representing the family. And Officer Tatum, as in Brandon Tatum, traveled to Mississippi, interviewed one of the boys involved in the case. But according to him, he probably interviewed several.
Okay.
Folks.
I was about to say he interviewed more than one, but go ahead, Stephen.
In attendance that July 4th day. So there's a lot of stuff to get into, and without further ado, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I know very little about this case other than what I've read and what I've seen on television. I've heard the reports implying one thing. Nevertheless, we're hearing other things come to light. So rather than speculate any longer, let's get to the bottom of it to the best that we can at this particular moment in time, with one autopsy having been done, another autopsy being performed, and evidence emanating from that's been deemed incomplete, to say the least. There's a lot to get into. So without further ado, here we go. Get your ears perked up. Get your thought process.
Just get to it.
MS Now legal analyst. He writes the What Matters Now newsletter on Beehive, and you can catch him on his podcast, The Brothers Briefing. He is joined by a former Arizona police officer turned conservative YouTube political commentator and host of the Officer Tatum podcast. Please welcome to the show, Charles F. Coleman Jr. and, of course, Officer Brandon Tatum. Good afternoon, fellas. How y'all doing? How's everything?
Blessed. I'm doing well, brother. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Charles Coleman Jr., let's start off with you. What can you tell us? I mean, the Nolan Wells case has been in the news for nearly 3 weeks now. For those who may not be aware of the case or have not kept up with the facts, just to recap, he was an 18-year-old college football player from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. On July 4th, he and a group of friends traveled by private boat to Horn Island, an uninhabited barrier island off the Mississippi coast. Wells,
child, you just went over that. Let this man speak, child. I can't sit here with you all day. Lord help your people. All right.
This particular juncture, what's on your mind in terms of this case? What's missing? What are your thoughts?
Well, Stephen A., we just saw the family release their independent autopsy results yesterday, which were conducted by Dr. Roger Mitchell, who is the president of the National Medical Association. And those results were inconclusive. They were able to establish that Nolan Wells did not die by accident, that he did not die of natural causes, but at the same time that they were not able to establish that this was a homicide. In fact, those results established that it was not a homicide. Now, one important caveat to note is that the chief medical officer from the state of Mississippi, the sheriff's office, removed the throat from Nolan Wells' autopsy when their autopsy was conducted first. We have not heard the results of the state's autopsy, but we know that when Roger Mitchell examined the body for the family, that the throat and other organs have been removed. So that your listeners understand, that's not abnormal. That is something that takes place normally during the case of an investigation.
I was waiting for him to say that, because You know, some of the comments from last night is that, you know, ain't got no throat, they ain't no throat. Well, there's a reason for that. And clearly, you know, that's why I'm saying some people are not really following this case. So I don't understand how you can go along with it. Oh, just say it's racism because that's what all the black people says, or that's what all black people say. Not all, but you know what I'm saying. But I'm glad he corrected himself. And for anybody that wants to actually get facts and listen, they would, but they don't, because they want the narrative to be their narrative, because some black people just need a win against white people.
And of an autopsy. So there's nothing that was wrong there. But at this point, Dr. Roger Mitchell, who did the independent autopsy from the family, has not been able to confirm any sense of foul play as of yet. That was undecided or undecisive. That does not mean that foul play may not have occurred. It just means that the autopsy that was conducted by the family did not show that conclusively. He saw some potential trauma to Nolan Wells' head. That was not something that he was able to explain as being the result of foul play.
Not his head, the back of his neck.
And we have yet to hear the state's autopsy and what they found and what their findings were. You may recall, and listeners may recall, that initially the sheriff's office said,
did he even listen to Ben Crump bumble through that damn autopsy report?
That they had no reason to suspect that foul play was afoot. And what I would say that this autopsy confirms from the family is that while that cannot be certainly confirmed, it still can't be ruled out. So finally, there are 60 witnesses that have been interviewed in the course of this investigation by the sheriff's office. There's likely going to be a presentation to the grand jury, and we don't know what the toxicology report will show from Nolan Wells because much of that is in the hands of the state. But as of right now, this is where things stand. And as a former prosecutor,
can we go ahead and assume that the toxicology report is at minimum going to show alcohol in the system, Bueller? Can we at minimum admit that we believe that the toxicology report is going to at minimum show that alcohol was in the stream? I think y'all said, would it take about, I don't know how long, 8 to 10 hours or something? Maybe it might be too late, but we clearly can see that there was some drinking. And someone just said, because I only got one screen, so it's hard for me to go back and forth, that I'm sure Nolan's parents told him not to drink, and yet he was drinking. Nope, you can't say that. That's not allowed to be said, okay? Because whatever Nolan's parents say is true has to be true, because we never were kids. We never raised any kids, and we know that kids always follow all the rules, even when they're good, even when they're bad.
I want to know what the state's autopsy is going to say, and what are the witness accounts that they are going to put forward in the grand jury.
Officer Tatum, you personally interviewed, you traveled to Mississippi, from my understanding, to personally interview one of the young men who left the island without Nolan. Why should the public trust whatever account is coming from them right now, in your estimation, based on what you've learned? First things first, I shouldn't say that. First things first, what did you deduce from the conversation you had from one of the friends that was with Nolan Wells? What did you take away from that you'd like the public to know?
Well, Stephen A., I want to make sure this is clear. I actually spoke to all the boys that were being accused. I spoke to family members. I spoke to also their attorneys. It's just that the one young man had the, I won't say courage, because others had reasons why they didn't want to come on the camera, but he was able to come on the camera, and I interviewed him. And I also interviewed another young man who was black, who was there, who had his own personal accounts of what happened. I'm not asking people to believe or not believe. I just wanted to give people the information. So nobody had heard from the young boys. Nobody had heard their accounts. And a lot of misinformation was put out there, some intentionally, some maybe not intentionally, but it was very detrimental and not conducive for the investigation into Nolan Wells' death. It was punitive. They came out and started with race. It had to be something nefarious because these boys are white for any other reason. So I wanted to go out and hear the full story. And what I deduced from the interview and talking to everybody is that these young boys had nothing to do with what ended up happening to Nolan Wells. And also they were best friends. I mean, these kids had so many pictures, so many text messages of them being closer to Nolan than any other friend group. And also one thing that shocked me was that this was an island, not secluded, not an island with 5 or 6 people on it. It was an island where there was thousands of people there, hundreds of boats. And also a lot of people could verify the statements that was made from some of these young men. So I really wish that we could have started at a point to say, what happened to Nolan Wells? Let's work together as a community. Let's talk to these young men, talk to other people, and let's find out what happened to Nolan instead of jumping the race.
Officer Tatum, how do you know that it was misinformation that was put out there? How did you come to the conclusion that something was misinformation? Explain that. Is it just according to their account or something else?
No, initially I knew it was hogwash because when Al Sharpton and them got on TV.
Not hogwash. All right, hogwash.
They automatically made an inference to say, well, it was something that had to happen because these kids were white. It was white kids with one black boy. I mean, that there's no evidence to project that unless you believe every white person is nefarious in their dealings with black people. And so I thought that was suspicious on his face. And then they said that Nolan was the only black kid. He was not the only black kid. Many of his black friends were also at the island with him. So, some of those things that started to come out, I knew that they were not being truthful about what happened.
Well, the thing about other black kids being there, it kind of depends on who you're talking to, because Nolan is black, even though he's Asian and black. But Trayston can't be trusted because he's half black and half white. Most of these black kids, it looked like from this island at this point, were mixed. There's a lot of mixed kids. They all look light, bright, and damn near white. But the only one that's black is Nolan, even though he's half Asian. Repped Asian, Philippines to be exact, along with his mama, who you can clearly see is not just black, but as long as she phenotypically, however you say that word, identifies as black, then it's acceptable. Then it's acceptable now to the blacks because they need a win so bad. And everything got to be racist and racism. And these boys, and even though they all sound alike, listen to Tristan talk. He sounds just like the one that looked 30 years old, Warren, or whatever. I think his name is Warren. He sounded just like him. And some of y'all were saying that's a country boy thing or something. So clearly, they all been down there for a while. Them going out and boating is a thing. It's just normal. They be on the water. They be driving boats and whatnot. That's weird to me up here in the on the East Coast anyway, northern East Coast. But down there, it's normal. No one even thinks to give way to the fact that it's a different way of living there. Just like when I go to California, it's a completely different way of living there as compared to the East Coast. No, can't look at anything differently like that. Everything just all has to fit into the same square. That'd be part of the problem too. But we already know. Stephen A is acting like he don't know. Maybe he hasn't been following the case. I don't know. But go ahead, Chuck.
Charles, your thoughts, your response to what Officer Tatum just said.
I don't necessarily know that the initial statements about Nolan being with some of his white friends is entirely afactual. I also don't know that it is a nefarious statement in as much as these are facts. He was with a number of different white boys or a number of different boys who are white. I think that the problem with what Officer Tatum has just pointed out is that there is an underpinning of race when you're having a conversation about the types of things that happen and have happened to black boys and black people in Mississippi, such that it cannot be.
There you go. Here we go.
Summarily dismissed. I did not necessarily jump to any conclusion, but the history of
nobody said you, but go ahead.
What race relations have been in Mississippi and how we have not necessarily been safe has caused me to take a special look at this case. It doesn't mean that I'm accusing anyone of anything. It doesn't mean that I do not believe in finding the process. But at the same time, I am not going to.
Why is this man taking this shit personally?
Ignore the facts, which you just pointed out. These are facts. He may have been with other black people, but we have seen the pictures. We have seen the photos. There were a number of people who were gathered out there for the July 4th holiday, but Nolan Wells was with 3 boys who happened to be white. Those are facts.
He was with, but the thing is that it's
he was with a lot more. See, this is what I'm talking about. People only want to hear what they want to hear based on their narrative that they want. That's it. He's not trying to listen to actual facts, even before Tatum went down there. This is the problem. This is the problem. Black people need a win against white people so damn bad. The Walmsleys had no problem living in Mississippi. The Walmsleys was doing well in Mississippi. They don't want to acknowledge that either. They had a good. The Walmsleys don't want to say that it's race. They want to ignore that too. But listen to Ben Crump. Make sure you listen to Ben Crump, y'all, because he's the one that's letting y'all know that you now need to be focused back on Nolan Wells. Now that y'all know that LeBron is coming to Philly. Now that y'all better keep your eyes on the prize and understand that now that you know, the only thing that you can focus on is Nolan Wells. Don't y'all focus on nothing the F else. Blacks, FBAs, African Americans, ebonies, chocolates, whatever you want to be called. He talking to you.
Without context. He was with more than just 3 white boys. That's the problem. There was over 20, 30 kids that got on 3 boats.
That was one freaking picture. They're going off of one freaking picture and trying to stand on that. If after everything that has come out, after everything that has been said, they still trying to focus on the 3 and the one damn picture. Ignorant.
And they all went to the island together. They didn't just travel with Nolan and just these 3 boys. Many of the boys that they're accusing, including Warren, wasn't even on the boat with Nolan when Nolan went out to the island. So some of those things were mischaracterizations of what actually happened. And the thing is that I don't think it's fair to say, because history has shown in part that white people or black people have had injustices, that all of a sudden you project that into a new situation. Black people have done nefarious things to other black people. Does that mean that you automatically jump to saying, oh, black people must be wrong in this situation? You know, because he had his black friends there too. And why nobody's questioning him? Why nobody's saying, oh, why did the black friends rescue him? What did the black kids know about Nolan? And many of them said that they saw him last when the white boys had left at 4:30. So I just think that the race should never be interjected. Nolan's friends told me, and they proved to me that they were really close to him and they were some of his best friends. They said Nolan would have been incredibly upset at the way people are framing his death and going after his friends with no evidence.
Well, here's the thing.
Hold on, Charles. I would say this to you, Officer Tatum. I get where you're coming from. And by the way, I appreciate the context and I appreciate the reporting on your part, because numerous reports that I had read was talking about how he was the only black kid there. He was a black kid with a few.
And if you're not going to look into it, that's all you're going to hear. So, and depending on who you want to listen to, which is why you always have to listen to other people. But, you know, we do that and people want to say, oh, you a coon, you don't like your own race. Y'all could go to hell, okay? Y'all are the ones that need the win so bad. I don't need a win so bad that I'm just going to ignore what the hell is actually going on and pay the fuck attention, and don't just listen to people that you choose to listen to because they're going to say what you want to hear. If you really want to get down to it, then you would listen to everyone and formulate an opinion. Because even before Tatum went down, take Tatum off the side. Before he even went down there, we have been looking into various different reporting people and news programs and what they were saying and the information that came out and what makes sense and sussing it through. As I say, y'all don't even do that. You got people, and I ain't naming no names, that's just like, this is what they said, but that's not what it means. Talking about this is what it sounds like, this is what it looked like, and y'all just go along with it. Because you just want, and then we'll say that, oh, white people always do this and white people always do that, and ignore what the hell it is that y'all be doing. Like, black people really do, in my opinion, really want the real race war at the end of the day, child. Because why do you have to carry on? Well, we know that Ben gonna do it. We know that Al gonna do it. We know, and let's take those two as well. Are they living around y'all? Al Sharpton, we already did Ben. Is he living around y'all? Is Al Sharpton living around all the blacks where y'all sitting up here talking about other people who think that they're better than somebody else? Y'all don't require all the rich people that you listen to live around blacks, live in the hood and live in the ghettos. So I'd be a little bit confused why the regular people are supposed to do it. What are you doing to help the community? I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. But like from a fair perspective, not just because I want it to be something that it doesn't even look like it is. These people were friends. Like I said, everybody saying that everybody is best friends. I'm a person that was like, everybody ain't your little friend. Everybody ain't your best friend. I say that to my granddaughter. Girl, everybody ain't your damn best friend. You better go. That don't mean that what they do when they're together isn't something different. They think they're best friends. All of them, my buddy. All of them, my buddy, my best friend, my buddy. Nobody where I lives at says my buddy, child. And everybody ain't best friends. As far as I know, child. I'm not a child, but I don't think that that's what they do. But I could be wrong. This is just something that I feel like is a Southern thing. So let's start. So you can go to any state, actually, at the end of the day, if something happens, and you can find some racist thing from the past. Mississippi is the deep South. We know the history, and I'm sure the Wamsleys do, and they still ain't saying that they think that it's racism. But I guess that can be ignored. Black people out here fighting hard. 1 second it's boycott Asians. The next minute is that justice for Nolan Wells. Well, Nolan and his mama are both part Asian, but ignore all that because no questions can be asked. Because the only way that you can be accepted as a black and be invited to the cookout is to say that it was racism with no proof. Sank Fan, I appreciate you. Said good morning, Miss Shauna. Peace to the chat. Thanks for holding it down for non-victims on that panel. Oh my God. For them others, it's all my life I had to fight out of here. I hear you. Listen, clearly I was told I need to get acting lessons. I thought I was pretty like chill up there. Just well, I was trying to be. Well, I have to tell you, racism got you pulled over the other day. Oh my God. I'm still traumatized from the oppressor oppressing me. I can't even believe it. Maybe I should call Ben Crump, see if he can help me get out of paying that ticket.
White boys, and you articulating that fact is very, very important. I think that's important and fair to point out. But what do you say to folks that will ask this kind of a question? He's on a boat, he's on an island, and according to numerous reports, he talked about staying behind and traveling back with a different set of company. Yet his car keys and his phone was left on a boat that he had traveled to those guys with. So what teenager do you know is saying he's staying someplace, but he's going to leave his car keys and his phone on the boat with the guys that he arrived at the island with? That does seem a bit suspicious, particularly.
Now, listen to this ignorancy. And I said ignorancy. That's already been explained, but child, no, that don't make no sense. No kid would ever not have his phone. And like we have seen and said before, it's not a pull-up place. It is you got to jump in the water to get to the island. So actually, it's a sensible thing not to bring your phone into the damn water and not to bring your keys too. What would you need your keys for on that island, Bueller? Let's think about this for a second, ignorant ass Stephen A. Smith. What, and all the rest that are listening, why would you take your keys onto an island if you don't have a car on said island? Your house ain't on said island. So it makes sense to just, oh, you know what? Let's just go ahead and take my possessions so they could potentially and possibly get lost. Hold on a second. So what's let's just go ahead and just take our keys and take our phones and possibly drop them in, because child, once you drop the keys into the sea, that's it, that's all. Now I don't know if a phone floats. I don't know. But just say you dropped your phone in, so then it's dead. So what good does that do you? They've already said plenty of people, not even Tatum, and ignorant people want to continue to act like, oh, well, he's a teenager. How come ain't nobody come out to redact that? No, just go ahead and keep going with that dumbass narrative. Act like you didn't see what the damn island looks like. Act like you don't see that the boat's got to wade in the water and you have to swim into the island. Like, stop being ignorant, people. Just please stop.
When the guy's mother, Nolan Well's mother, had to use some app to locate the phone, and it was something that wasn't given back. These are reports. I'm not pretending to know, Officer Tatum. These are what the report said. What do you say to that?
And this is where I feel like Benjamin Crump and them should be sued for them putting out this information without facts. Let me point the facts out. Without context, it sounds bizarre. But when you put it in the context that a lot of people left their phones on the boat that left. Many kids came to get their phone after they left the lake. Nolan was with a girl. It's not shocking that Nolan would have said, hey, man, you guys had to leave, because they had to leave in an emergency situation. It wasn't like they had time to prep and everything. The boat was sinking, so they had to go. And they told Nolan, get on the boat, get on the effing boat, man, let's go. And he like, no, I'm finna hang out with this girl. I saw evidence of that, and others who had sent messages that I read that said that they asked Nolan to go and he didn't want to go. Now, a lot of people left their phones on the boats because they're sitting in chest deep water, and it's a bunch of people out there. The reception is not very good, so most people did not have their phone with them. Now, the phone and the keys situation, people need to understand the context. Nolan never brought his keys with him because they were on a boat driving 7 miles out to an island. His keys had always been at the residence where his car was. So when the guys go back, they text Nolan's mother. This is where it ticks me off. They showed me a phone call where immediately the first phone call that was made concerning Nolan was Warren called Nolan's mom, and she hung up the phone on him the first time because she didn't know who he was. The second call, he told her, hey, Nolan haven't come back. Do you know? Have you heard from him? And then they called the Coast Guard. So his mother was very much aware that they had Nolan's phone. His mother did not have to track the phone through Life 360. His mother didn't come get the phone. Another parent of a black kid who was out there with Nolan came to get her son's phone and Nolan's phone. So why didn't Al Sharpton or any of them ask these boys what happened, have them show evidence, and then present it to the public? And it's because I think they wanted the race bait instead of trying to find out what happened to Nolan.
Do you know?
Of course they want the race bait, but the baiters want to keep eating it, so they're not going to acknowledge what has already been proven. We've already proven this because we're really taking time to look at what fucking matters and what can be proven instead of just theories where people just come off and say, oh yeah, they red rubbed them. Because since I said what I said last night with what Ringo thinks happened, he might be wrong now too, because every day is something more. That damn video probably is not, that damn audio is probably not accurate either. It's probably not true. Child, it's too damn much. It's too damn much. So shout out to Trey. I appreciate you. He says, like what Anton said yesterday, to put your hands in the air. That's what Stephen is doing, bucking and jiving. Not bucking and driving. Stephen A, at least he keeps saying that he doesn't know, so I can kind of give him a pass. So he's only going off of what probably his regular D9ers are saying, the boule. And if that's what you're going to do, or CNN, then you're only going to know half of the information. Imagine if you looked at all the information and saw what can be proven as opposed to what people just think, then more people could speak intelligently on this daggone issue. But no, a teenager would never. The mama, look, we can give her a second to pass because she the one that's grieving, right? One would think that at this point, being down in Mississippi, she knows what Horn Island is and how it works and what it looks like. Allegedly, okay? But the rest of them, so y'all are just spewing out shit and not doing any investigating. What the fuck is he there for? If he's not going to look into anything, what the fuck is he there for? Oh, to stir shit up, to make sure that people get all riled up and get the black people behind them and get them all together so that when they say, this is what white people do, so y'all make sure that y'all vote Democrat, which is how he can put out some shit like this, telling y'all what to do. So make sure that you don't be thinking about nothing else but Nolan Wells. Nothing else, black people. This is all you can do with your time. Anything that you want to do for yourself, don't do it. Anytime that you think you want to do something for your family, don't do it. Anytime you think that there's something that you need to focus on that's not focused on Nolan Wells, don't do it. The only thing you can do is focus on Nolan Wells. So if this seems to go into the basketball season and LeBron plays his first game at the Sixers, which I'm pretty sure will sell out, and I might have to go only because it'll be fun. You can't do it because the only thing that you can be focused on is Nolan Wells because your black attorney general, your attorney general for black people has spoken.
No, do you know? Hold on, Charles. Do you know whether or not Al Sharpton and those guys had asked to talk to the kids and the kids refused to talk to them? Do you know
no, they told me they told me that they haven't heard anything from Al Sharpton, anybody that tried to contact them. This is what they told me. Now, they showed me messages where parents had communicated and reached out to Benjamin Crump, his team, and said, we would love to communicate with you guys. Any questions you have, we want to talk to you guys so you can get the context. Also, they messaged Nolan's mother multiple times about communicating and saying, hey, if you need anything, if you want to talk, we can give you the context of what happened. And nobody reached out to these boys. And I saw evidence of this, which is what frustrated me about this in the first place.
Charles, floor is yours.
So here's the thing, Officer Tatum, we're not going to litigate the facts on here from one side of someone who's had an opportunity to talk to a sample size of people who were involved in this investigation. You and I know just as well that
now it's a sample size.
The real issue here is that the people who conducted the investigation, i.e. the Mississippi Sheriff's Department, who've talked to over 60 witnesses in this case, have not yet presented that case or their findings to a grand jury, and they've been extremely tight-lipped with respect to what they have found and what it is that they know. Where I'm going with this is, regardless of who you may have spoke to, who Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton may have spoken to, what information they have had, we are all trying to piece this together. And so it is equally as unfair to present a certain set of facts as if this is the final context of things, when in reality, we don't know. What I will say about the overall situation is that for me, as a civil rights attorney, I am looking at this and I am saying that there needs to be a greater sense of transparency from the Sheriff's Department because they are the ones who have spoken to most of the parties who have been involved in this case.
Well, then maybe that's where Ben Crump should be spending his motherfucking time. How about that? If that's where the focus should be, then why isn't the civil rights attorney that represents the family isn't doing that? Why isn't he down there at the court? Why isn't he down there putting a motion in order to do whatever the fuck it is that you're supposed to do? I have no idea. Why ain't he focusing on them? No, all he says is, if it was reversed, it would be different. All those people, all those white people, that's all he's saying. So how is that helpful? If what this man is saying, because he's a civil rights attorney, and I don't disagree that that's where time should be spent, the question should be, why isn't Ben Crump spending his time doing that instead of rubbing Christine's back, her arm, and everything else looking all icky and prancing her and her husband all over the morning shows and any other show and the NAACP convention, the Griot, and anything else, and every place else, and not prancing his ass on down there to the damn DA's office every day to say, do this, do that, why, how come, where come, and yada, yada, yada. What the fuck is his point? If we're going to listen to this man who makes sense with what he just said, why is Ben Crump not doing it? Because that's not what he's in it for. I don't care what y'all say. He in it for the money as per fucking usual. The notoriety, and how the fuck can this nigga, which I know a bunch of people work for him. I understand that, right? But if he's laser focused, listen, I agree with you. And from the money aspect of it, I agree with you. But he jumping over here to Ruiz. He jumping over there to Carmelo. Who's the focus? Where's the fucking focus? Child. Whatever. Anyway, come on, child.
They've conducted over 60 witness interviews. They've done the toxicology report. They have the autopsy. So these are the people who are truly equipped from an information place to give the public the most accurate picture. So I am not calling what you're putting out misinformation, but what I am saying is that is just an equally biased and slanted point of view in the opposite way because it lacks the full context. So because of that, let me finish. It's disingenuous intellectually, number one, to dismiss the notion of race because that is choosing to.
Now you're dumb. Now you're dumb because intellectually you can't dismiss race. So basically saying you're dumb.
Nor the history in America that we have faced. Number two, it's equally disingenuous to play a whataboutism to try and substitute the notion of black on black crime, which is a complete.
Oh, but it's okay when Ben Crump says, well, what if they was all black and there was one white boy that didn't come back? So it's rules for thee, but not for me. All right, now he's starting to piss me off.
Misnomer as to why we should not focus, or at least note, I won't even say focus, at least note the color issues that are at play with respect to what could or might have happened to Nolan Wells. Again, not necessarily being accusatory. And it's just as
since the fact that his mama and daddy didn't have an issue with him being down there, and his mama and daddy don't think that it's racism, and his mama and stepdaddy, my bad, his mama and stepdaddy made a great living down in Mississippi, lived amongst all the Mississippians, if that's what y'all are called, was down there in Mississippi, living a good life, becoming a doctor and all those things, celebrating Asian heritage. Now, all of a sudden, you got to always focus on this, on the blacks and the history and the history and the history. Yeah, of course you do when you want to make it about race, when it technically at this point ain't about race. Again, I'm not talking about the police side of things because I really haven't been paying attention to that. I'm talking about the other side with the friend group and them trying to say that, you know, they did something to Nolan without any proof just because people are white. Then as soon as somebody white says the same thing the opposite way, that's racism too. So in other words, everything is racism. And how many times have I said you water the shit down by calling everything racism that people ain't gonna take your ass seriously? The history of Mississippi was there when the Walmsleys were living their life. The history of Mississippi was there when they was coming up and living their good, I would say, upper middle class life. Their very good upper middle class life. That history was still there. I'm telling you, black people just think that white people just some white people, maybe many white people, just flip a switch one day and say, you know what? I'm going to be racist today and I'm going to go find me a Negro. I promise you, they really do think that. All right, I'm going to switch today. Like the people with Ahmaud Arbery, I'm not sure what state that happened in. Those dudes that went after him, they was always like that. They was always like that. Anybody think that they was having just looking at them? I remember what they look like because that's basically where I came into YouTube when that shit was coming toward an end with Ahmaud Arbery, where they deleted him. Right? It was Georgia. Oh, not Georgia. And looking at them, it's like, yeah, they did that shit, right? Sometimes it's just like, yeah, they did that shit. Like I say about people with certain hairstyles, yeah, I'm stereotyping, right? Okay. So then they up there, they talking, which is another, you know, it's a southern part of the East Coast. They a little bit different down there. And I'm looking at them as like, they ain't never had a black friend that they was like, yeah, come on over here and we gonna have a bit. No, that's not who they are. And I'm stereotyping. Fuck that. I'm stereotyping. They ain't never had no black friends in their life. They the ones that are like the old school, you niggers can't be around here doing nothing. You can't be better than us. Y'all know they look like Boss fucking Hog. Looking like they ain't had, shout out to Boss Hog though. Looking like they ain't had shit ever in their life. So if a black person look like they got something that they gonna be mad about it. Exactly. I'm just saying. So these kids all knew each other. All these kids all hanging out, going to prom, going to school, going to colleges, getting together, playing together, talking together, snapping together, all the things they did. All of a sudden, the switch one day said, you know what? Think I'm going to delete my best friend today. Okay, yeah. Don't ever. The grifters will always bring it back to race. There's not one state where you can't find something that happened racially. So it'll work every single time. So this is the grift. Yeah, Ben Crump is a genius. And then you got people following him like this man, which is fine. Mr. Civil Rights Attorney, who is not saying that Ben should be doing exactly what he said a second ago, because he's not going to call out his brother, because he's probably D9 too. So he's not going to call out his friend, a fellow civil rights attorney, and talk about what he should be doing. So Ben Crump ain't never did nothing wrong. So Ben Crump don't have to account for shit. So Ben Crump is doing everything wonderfully, everything perfectly. Right? That's what we doing? Okay. That's why he's telling y'all to get your asses in line and make sure that you fucking focus on Nolan Wells. Y'all don't need to be focused on nothing else. Don't be talking about LeBron. Don't be looking at no sports. Don't be going on no vacations. Don't be putting your money nowhere except for that GoFundMe. Don't be doing nothing else with your life because the attorney for blacks has spoken.
And everyone else was projecting the notion of race. That may have been your interpretation, which I cannot necessarily argue with. But it is just as problematic for you to suggest the polar opposite of that when none of us have conducted this full investigation. You have a limited sample size. I have a limited sample size. The public has been wrought with misinformation. So for me, the real issue here is a lack of transparency from the sheriff's office to give the public a complete picture.
Well, let me tell you why I disagree with you fully. As a former police officer, and I was a PIO, I dealt with all of these things. The police department is not an injustice when you say there's a lack of communication or transparency. The police department cannot put this information out there when you still have suspects at large. If they go and release some of this information and show their hands of what they know and don't know, then potential suspects would begin to destroy evidence. They'll start.
That's not even anything I feel like he needs to say. Honestly, I understand what he's saying right now, but the certain demographic is not trying to hear that. They think that they should have everything. There was a time where everybody didn't have the information on Carmelo Anthony, right? And then when the information came out, it was, oh, that's a lie, it's racism. So it doesn't even matter at the end of the day what it is. Once you formulate in your mind and you close your mind to think that let's actually look at what's true, what the facts are, whatever. No, let's just go ahead and whatever we think we're going to make this square fit into this circle, regardless of what the actual facts are, the information is. And if there's an opportunity or a chance that there is racism going on within the police department or with the investigation, one would think that that's where the civil rights attorney who wants to make sure that your civil rights are not violated would concentrate his efforts. Nope, that's not where he's putting it. That's not where he's putting it, meaning Ben Crump. He too busy getting his ass on down there to Wisconsin to make sure he gets his piece of the pie down there. Then jump back over here to Carmelo to make sure that he gets his piece of pie over there. How the fuck can you be focused on anything that much? When you're over here, you're over there, and you're every damn where. Because his job is to fan the flames of racism, regardless of what anything is, and to make sure that black people follow along. And then that translates to the rest to say, Republicans are bad, conservatives MAGA, and make sure that you vote for Democrats because they're the ones that like you blacks, even though they don't either. But, continue on.
Hiding, they'll start cleaning stuff. You don't want to give that information out to the public until you know for a fact that you've been able to communicate with every suspect that's out there. If you start putting out the autopsy prematurely and it shows blunt force to the head, strangulation to the neck, then the people who have done this are going to make sure they hide the murder weapon. They're going to make sure they get their stories together and say, no, I didn't hit him in the back of the head. You don't want to project those things too prematurely. So there's no issue with transparency. And I'll say this: the reason that I'm talking about Al Sharpton is because the first thing that they said was that he was there with white boys. Therefore, there had to have been something. And then it goes back historically. Some of them compared this to the young man.
I've heard very different messages from them when they have said, we cannot assume that this is racist.
Lies. Oh my God. This man is full of shit. The exact thing that Ben Crump said was, oh, the white boys came back and Nolan didn't. Al Sharpton said, we not saying that it's racism, but we most certainly can't say that it's not. Now that nigga said that. Ben Crump straight up came down there and said, if it had been 4 black boys and 1 white boy, we would be saying a totally different story. So he can make some shit up, but nobody else can. Chuck, get the fuck out of my
face. Not assume that it wasn't. So
okay, let me jump in here.
Who's that, Charles? Hold on. Charles, who said that? Who said that?
Literally during
exactly. Al Sharpton.
Okay. Thank you. That this was racist. And
exactly. So, nigga, you was implying that Ben Crump said that when we know because we looking at the shit. and not with any preconceived notions like others. And it was Al Sharpton that sat there and said that. But you was trying to say that's not what Ben Crump did. What Tatum said is exactly what Ben Crump did.
We can also not assume that it wasn't.
Let me take time. Take time. Hold on, guys. Guys, take your time. Ain't nothing getting edited out. Don't worry about it. Trust me. All of it is. I'm not editing a damn thing. Go ahead, Officer Tatum. Floor is yours.
Well, let me interject. When you are looking for justice for your child in a criminal case, meaning that somebody committed a crime against your child, why do you go out and get a civil rights attorney? These Benjamin Crump and them are known for going after these cases specifically in injustices against black people.
Let me try first. Okay, go ahead. No, that's fair. No, that's fair, Charles. Go ahead.
I'm a former prosecutor. I'm a civil rights attorney. Please understand how these things work. At the end of the day, when you're talking about quote unquote justice, the first reason why you get someone like Benjamin Crump is because he's a person who has experience with wrongful death lawsuits.
Thank you for saying that, because that's what it is about for him. I don't care what none of y'all say. That's why he jumped from Carmelo, jumped to Nolan, and is jumping to Ruiz. And let something else happen, he gonna jump the fuck over there too. That nigga always out for some damn money. That is his damn grift. That is his grift. And that's how he's rich. Not living amongst black people, I promise you. I promise you, he ain't living nowhere where it's a full ass on black community. But you know, that's some of y'all's interpretation of what it means to be black, is that you got to live around all black people. The Wamsleys wasn't living around all black people. Clearly, y'all ain't got no problem with fighting for them. And gentlemen, specifically, I'm talking to the black men. Please see, note, and understand. Nobody fights for y'all like this. Otherwise, do they? Bueller, help me understand and attest or deny that nobody fights for you like this when you're fucking alive, especially women. They could give a shit about y'all's asses until you are deceased, especially or specifically by allegedly somebody white. Oh, then you worth something. You already know. You worth everything in that instance. And guess who comes around? People that can say, oh, it's racism and it's white people, and see what they do, and this how America is, and this is what Mississippi does. Child, this what Texas does. This is what Alabama does. This is what Georgia does. Child, at this point, and I said does, and probably California. Just pick something out of your ass. Yeah, they did it. Because it's some form of racism that has happened in the past, because it's the fucking United States of America. We can definitely acknowledge that. We can acknowledge that there's definitely racism here in the United States of America. What Ben Crump did, though, was what he always does, is just say this is racist from the fucking gate with no damn information, and never has to go back and correct himself. Nobody requires him to correct himself, and people still call on his ass. Does Ben Crump come out here to help none of y'all when you're not dead? Bueller, what case was that? How many times has Ben Crump come out here to fight for black men? Because it's typically usually black men, let's be honest, right? And fought for y'all before you was dead. And fought to help y'all before some alleged white person took your ass on up out of here. Anybody? Anybody?
It's not about black people. No,
it is. Benjamin don't represent white people.
Please talk about that is completely false. That is
when was the last case he represented?
I'm not here to do your research for you.
No, you don't say.
Oh, I'm not here to do your research for you, but you all on Ben's side. And what did one of y'all said? I think he is in D9. I forget which one. Of course, that's the connection that a lot of y'all also don't want to acknowledge. These Boule D9 people, you think they coming down here to be around y'all regular us? I'm gonna go ahead and lump myself in. You think they're coming around to be around us regular colors? They're not. They're not. And none of them are living in a full black fucking community that y'all think that the rest of us are supposed to do, because if you don't, then you're not black. Fuck y'all. That ain't how it works. Everybody don't got to be poor. Everybody don't got to be downtrodden. And everybody ain't living amongst only black people, because that don't even make no sense. Because I thought Martin Luther King wanted everybody to be judged off of their character. Oh, that goes out the window? Oh, yeah, okay, my bad. Now that just goes out the window. That's why y'all need to stop freaking saying his name and using his likeness, because y'all don't even believe that shit.
I'm telling you,
but Benjamin Crump has a long-standing career of supporting people of all races and ethnicities when it comes to the violation of their civil rights, as well as personal injury. So please.
Well, now I guess you can say Ruiz.
let me answer your question.
Go ahead.
The reason why you get a civil rights attorney is because, number one, Benjamin Crump has extensive experience when it comes to wrongful death suits. Number two, in this situation, it is possible that there may be an element that Nolan Wells' civil rights were violated and that something may have happened to him because of his color, which is why you get a civil rights attorney. And so that is the answer to your question.
It's about
As
color.
a former prosecutor, you let the police and the sheriff's office deal with the notion of criminality because that is one thing that Benjamin Crump can't do anything about.
Well, let's say this. Brother, can I jump in here?
You go get someone like Benjamin Crump.
Why wouldn't the kids get civil rights? Like, for instance, people were saying, why did these kids lawyer up? First of all, many of them didn't even have a lawyer. They went and talked to investigators and did a lot of taking tests equivalent with no lawyers. Okay, so, but anyway, would you think it would be weird if these kids went out and got a civil rights attorney?
Why would they have a civil rights attorney? They're not being accused of anything.
They are being accused. They are being accused.
They accused
Al Sharpton. Benjamin Crump.
What are you talking about? Who's accusing them? Every time Ben opens this nigga, y'all, Lord help me. Lord help me.
They are being accused. They are being accused. They accused Al Sharpton. Benjamin Crump.
Show me where Al Sharpton has accused them of something.
All right, they said this is what they said.
Suspicious.
This is what they said. No. They said they put these boys' pictures out on the internet and said he went out, and they framed it as he went out just with them, and something happened, and we know something happened, and why they hiding phones and doing all this? He's accusing them before any evidence is presented.
That's not an accusation. That is.
Oh, this nigga here, child. Lord help your people.
It's an accusation.
It's a statement of suspicion. That's not an accusation.
Hold on. Charles.
It's a statement of suspicion. It's not an accusation. That's a lawyer speak right there. That is absolute lawyer speak right there. Woo! Oh my God. I can't do this. Hit the damn like button. Subscribe if you are normal.
Charles, let me chime in here. A statement of suspicion, some people would say, is an accusation.
Exactly.
I understand from the legal, literal sense what you're saying. But talking amongst ourselves
Lord.
right now, when you say a statement of suspicion is not an accusation, that's not how people interpret a statement of suspicion. When you make a statement of suspicion, you're making an accusation. I mean, can we at least concede that, Charles?
What I will say in response to that, Stephen A., is to whatever extent there may have been statements of suspicion that were interpreted in that manner given early on, I think the record has been clear leading up to and during Nolan Wells' funeral that A, we don't know what happened, B, we won't rule anything out, and C, with respect to ruling anything out or not ruling anything out, we are not saying that this absolutely happened, but we are not saying that we are resting until we get.
He's playing fucking semantics, nigga. Shut the fuck up. He's the same as Ben fucking Crump, okay? He's bullshitting. He's bullshitting for his boy, his fellow boulayer, his D9er buddy, along with probably Al Sharpton. Y'all let me know if he's in one too. But it's a statement of suspicion. So let's just change some words. That nigga straight up was accusing all the white people, them white boys. That's exactly what he was doing. And the fact that some people out here talking about, well, why did they lawyer up? Well, what the fuck they supposed to do? What the fuck are they supposed to do? Let's just prove that I like black people and I'm not going to protect myself. So that makes good God sense, right? So they can afford to do such. Oh, I don't disagree with this. I don't disagree with that at all. But they can afford to go get lawyers, even though Tatum said that all of them couldn't get lawyers, which maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. Imagine saying that, how dare you go get a lawyer? Imagine saying, how dare you go get a lawyer when you got Crump up here with statement of suspicion or whatever the fuck he just called it. Basically accusing them, right? But if black people went and got a lawyer, it would be the smart thing to do. Isn't it interesting how that changes? Isn't it interesting how that changes? Well, that's what they should do. So remember all the money that was donated to Shanquella, or not Shanquella, because nobody cared about Shanquella except for us. Rest in peace to Shanquella Robinson, where her deleters, which is on tape, were allowed to just go live their fucking lives, right? But the other one that they was referencing last night, Ashley Janae, and her parents, where they went and got their GoFundMe together, got all that money, right? And then she ended up coming back, and then they say without her this, without her that. Phi Beta Sigma, thank you, boo. So Al is in Phi Beta Sigma honorarily. Of course they're gonna give it to him. because that's what that shit is all about. But a lot of black people won't look into that. It's all we in charge. They the gatekeepers of the rest of the black community, and that's who is up here saying all these things for the most part that are the quote unquote spokesperson for the black community. Y'all don't even realize it. They got people that they answer to, as evidenced by when Rolly put that post up from that dude in Virginia, Mr. Fairfax, where he deleted his wife and himself. And they said, take that shit down. Y'all ain't never seen Roland listen to nobody. Y'all ain't never heard or seen Roland quickly listen to nobody but the boule, which he admitted. So they do what the boule tells them to do, and then they get you colors in line. And that's why you got Ben over here putting up a post like this to tell y'all what to do. Get your asses in line and get back to Nolan Wells and concentrate on nothing else, because I said so. And I'm pretty sure enough of y'all will go ahead and make sure you get back to work like the fuck he said to.
Can I show where this becomes biased?
Officer, let me come at you with this. What's wrong? There's a kid now. Okay, granted, you did your homework. You went out there and you actually talked to several of his friends. Props to you for that. But the bottom line is, this kid Nolan Wells is dead, and he was the only one that was dead. What's wrong with, again, in the state of Mississippi? Not just with white boys, there were some dudes there as well, but he had other people there. He was the one that did not come home alive. Again, without an official accusation. What's wrong with having your suspicions raised and saying, listen, we need some damn answers. Something ain't right. He was a healthy young 18-year-old and he didn't come home alive. How'd that happen? What's wrong with that?
Now, if they had context and all the information and then they led with that, I would have no problem with it. But let me tell you this right now, Stephen A. Smith and Charles, I'm telling you right now, if a white boy was on an island with his black friends, all black, and some white folks put on a camera, that something must be suspicious, because the one white boy is with all these black dudes, and something may have happened. We know that people covering it up and everything because these kids black. Man, we'd be pissed off on that. Ain't no way in the world I'd accept somebody saying, you gonna blame these black boys for doing something to this kid because they black? That's insane. And that's what happened in this situation.
If a white boy had been on that boat with 3 black boys,
here we go.
We would have seen a very different.
Where's your evidence?
Here we go. Didn't he just say a second ago about the what ifs, but now he can what if, just like I said, Ben Crump can what if. So the what ifs are only good when the black people do the what ifs. Got it. I think I saw somebody said, random said that Ben Crump did represent Hunter Britton's family. So he would, who the hell is Hunter Britton? Okay. I don't even know who the hell that is, but okay. He represented one white person. Okay. All right. He get credit for one white person. Thank you for the information.
History.
No history. You say history. Tell us everything.
We would have seen please let me finish my statement. We would have seen a very different.
Give me an example
of the Central Park, the exonerated 5.
Well, first of all,
how does he know it would have been different? We would have seen something different. Oh, so you can do the whataboutisms, but nobody else can.
First of all, 5 of them didn't go to prison. It was Central Park 5. Only 4 of them went to prison.
It was actually 6 of them, and 5 went to prison. And I'm not.
And let me tell you how he went to prison.
I'm not going to quibble with you.
You won't give context.
One at a time, guys. One at a time.
You asked for an example. I'm not going to quibble with you and say, well, they're called the exonerated 5, and only 4 went to. I'm not going to do that. The exonerated 5. You wanted an example? I gave you an example.
That's not an equivalent example.
And there are other examples throughout history, starting with Emmett Till.
Are you comparing this to Emmett Till?
You asked me.
No. Are you saying that this is equivalent to Emmett Till?
You asked me for an example.
So you're saying that it's equivalent?
Where if reversed?
Okay. I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm telling you,
child, we could do this all day with the whataboutisms and the this part in history or this time in history and this time in history. What does that have to do with what's going on today? Yeah, he definitely is a slip and fall lawyer. Yes, he's a grifter. Period. He shout out to the one white person he represented, but he definitely is a grifter. And so what are black people going to do? Just always go back to what happened when it was racism in this case. What's that got to do with 2026? Oh yeah, everything has to abide by today's law. That's how Bill Cosby got caught the fuck up. Bill Cosby was America's dad, even whilst we knew, and me as a child knew, that he was slipping Mickeys into people's drinks. I knew that as a child because it was known. But now, because of everybody being the fuck woke and every law has to be done to protect women, he could then be brought to jail over some shit that plenty of people were doing, right, wrong, or indifferent. It was a different time, and people knew, and that's what they did. And them people that had issue with it most certainly went back after something allegedly happened. So make sense. Because women in 1 minute know everything, and in the second breath, they don't know shit, and they're not responsible for their own fucking actions. Please miss me with this bullshit. And this man here,
I'm giving you examples. What I'm telling you is that if the situation were reversed, we would have seen a very different investigation from law enforcement from the actual outset. From the outset.
Let me interject.
We as a people, when it comes, as a former prosecutor, because here's the thing, you're a former police officer, and that's fine. But when it comes to after arrests are made and how prosecutions are going, that's my space. That's my lane. So I'm going to speak from my lane. And what I can tell you is, we do not typically enjoy the benefit of the doubt when it comes to probable cause.
That's not true.
I'm telling you as a former prosecutor, I'm not going to tell you what it's like.
I arrest people and I deal with prosecutors. I have to do it. I have to interview with the prosecutors every time there's an arrest. And we have to go to trial.
Well, he's not saying that you don't know. Hold on. He's not saying that you don't know Officer Tatum. What he's saying is from his perspective as a prosecutor, this is what he's bringing up. Now, I granted, I don't blame Officer Tatum. I don't blame Officer Tatum for bringing up, acting incredulous when he says that you'd say Emmett Till, that's 1955. When Al Sharpton brought up Medgar Evers at the funeral, that's 1963. So if Officer Tatum's going to look at it and say, that's what you're bringing up, I get where he's coming from in terms of the distance between then and now. But I also get where you're coming from, Charles Coleman Jr., when you highlight, listen, from an historical perspective, we're talking about, we've seen things like this before. And those are just names that we know. There's a plethora of names that we may not have known that have transpired throughout history that have suffered some of these maladies, and we get that part too. Go ahead, Officer Tatum, the floor is yours.
But what I'm saying,
you're right. So start bringing up some of those new names. Stop just coming up here with the high level cases then, and prove what the hell it is that you think where the racism is, not just because the person happens to be white and the other person happens to be whatever. Now all of a sudden you can just say Emmett Till is the reason. Child, these motherfuckers make me sick.
Is that you cannot project that. It's unfair to project that. You can have it in your subconscious that there has been things that have been done wrong, but you got to treat these things fairly. You cannot go out and project that somehow the sheriff is a racist and he's not going to do right by these boys. That's not right. Let the investigation ensue, and then if you see impropriety,
or get your civil rights lawyer ass on down there and get your people in there instead of running all over the damn United States with a grieving mother and a grieving stepfather.
In the investigation, then you can project that. But listen, they interviewed all of you. Just said they interviewed 60 people. They interviewed all these boys the day of. Like, what did they do wrong? They did an autopsy.
Officer Tatum, respectfully, what about those who would say the same or would ask the same question about you? Are you being fair? Because just like you have people out there that are elevating their level of suspicion and jumping to some sort of conclusion attached to guilt as it pertains to the death of Nolan Wells, you're coming across as somebody who's assuming these individuals that were in attendance with him were innocent because of your conversations with them, as opposed to not getting the full context the way Charles Coleman Jr. just highlighted.
No, yeah.
But he did get the context, and y'all just want to ignore it because you want it to be racism so bad amongst the boys. I'm only talking about amongst their relationship.
I accept people saying that, but let me tell you that I saw proof. I'm not just taking somebody's account for it. And I'm not saying that nobody didn't kill Nolan. I'm telling you the people that they put out on the internet and said these white boys were the only ones with him, and they're getting death threats. While I was out there, somebody sent the suspicious package to one of the boys' houses. They showing up at these boys' houses saying that they killed him. Go look on the internet and look at any of these videos. They got the boy pictures up there saying they had something to do with his death. They're claiming they deleting text messages. All of this stuff is incredibly ridiculous. When I went out and I said, show me the proof then. Not just what you say, show me the proof. And these kids are showing proof, their lawyers are showing proof that they had nothing to do with this. They have a Life 360 just like Nolan did. Their Life 360 showed that they were not on the island, or at least, the young man that I interviewed, he wasn't even on the island. I saw his Life 360. So, I mean, these kids, they shouldn't have done these boys like this. They should let the investigation go and then make their accusation.
So you're highlighting specifically, you're not even saying, like you just said, you're not even saying that Nolan Wells, that some vile act, that he wasn't murdered. You're saying that I
don't think anybody is saying that. But at this point, we don't know if he was or if he wasn't. No one has anybody said that they don't think that let me just say foul play, because I don't think he was, me personally, I don't think he was red rummed. I don't think that's what it is. However, it doesn't mean that no one else doesn't know what happened. That's all I'm saying. But let's just go ahead and assume. Now, I don't think I've heard anybody say that anybody say that there wasn't some foul play, I guess. Not necessarily by others, because I would consider, correct me if I'm wrong, if he drowned, it's kind of foul play. But at the same time, we also know that there was drinking involved, as evidenced by pictures. I guess there's some pictures that can be used and looked at and say, okay. And then some pictures looked at and said, yeah, no, we don't like that, so we're not going to acknowledge that. Just like the text messages. Now nobody want to acknowledge the text messages. I guess that's not true because it looks like somebody lied. I'm not saying who. I'm just saying it looked like somebody lied. But ignore all that. Just like you can see that Mrs. Walmsley is not just black. And we know that she's Asian. And black people are supposed to be boycotting Asians. But we should ignore all that and not ask any questions. Because like I said, black people be jumping out on shit emotionally and don't think shit through, and then come be looking like fools a lot of the time once shit changes.
These boys, those are the ones that are being unfairly scrutinized and villainized by this whole ordeal. That's what you're saying, Officer Tatum. Is that accurate?
Yes, Stephen A. There were black kids there who now getting threats online too for coming out and saying something. But nobody's saying, what did these black kids have anything to do with it? The young girl he was kicking it with, They don't have her name out there. Well, her name is Katie, but I'm not gonna say her full name. I don't want her to get doxxed. They not nobody talking about her. She said she was the last one. I mean, she at least mentioned that she was with him. The boy showed me text messages from her that she's saying that she was with him. Like, why ain't nobody coming at? How nobody coming at her?
I've seen, and see, this is where it gets dangerous, right? The importance in this moment is to focus on the integrity of the overall process. And when I say the overall process, I'm referring to
I think the overall process is fine. It's everybody else out here in the world that's having the problem. Honestly, it's everybody else out here that's having the problem. They tight lip as a mug, and that's where Ben Crump, the civil rights lawyer that cares about racism so badly, why the fuck ain't he down there where the actual people doing all this investigating are and talking to them? That don't mean that you got to come tell us because the shit got to be kept under wrap. Why isn't he doing that? Nobody seems to care. Nobody seems to have an issue with that. But as long as he keeps saying all this other rhetoric and keeping everybody all riled up, then that's where his time should be spent. Oh yeah, my bad. Now you got to go down there to Ruiz because he got to help them and make sure they keep their eyes on the prize down there. Oh yeah. And then at some point come back over to Carmelo. I'm assuming he's gonna come back to Carmelo and make sure that he keeps them riled up over there. No, he's on the up and up. Shout out to Ben Crump. Shout out to Spiral Drip. I appreciate you for the jewels. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Shout out to all of y'all that are here. Hit the like button if you are normal. I'm sorry, hit the like button, hit the dislike button, subscribe if you are normal. I got about a half an hour left. Come on, damn it.
The investigation, because I knew that the girl's name was Katie. I don't know her last name, and I knew it because there were people who I was seeing in the comment sections that I had on videos that I had done updating people about the case who were asking the same questions that you have. People who
Benjamin Crump isn't.
Please. So here's the thing, which is why when you're trying to, and at the end of the day, listen, you don't know what Benjamin Crump is doing as far as investigating a case. The same way that you talked about, with an investigation, there are certain things that you don't reveal. You don't know what that team of lawyers are doing with respect to trying to ascertain the facts. When it comes to,
well, he could come out and let people know. He most certainly likes to come out and let y'all know that you better get your minds right and get your asses back to get your focus on damn Nolan. So he don't have to give us specific details. He could come out here regularly and say, I was down there. Our lawyers were down there at the office. We're making sure integrity and everything goes the way that it goes. The autopsy is being done. It should be done sometime soon. We know that the prosecutor, the DA said blah, 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 blah. And this is what they're finding. And they did do some interviews with a lot of different people and not give us the information. No, he's not doing that. No, he's not doing that. None of that. It's just his race to Emmett Till, Medgar Evers, the deep south of Mississippi. You already know this grieving mother, this grieving father. Justice for Nolan Wells. Justice for Nolan Wells. Well, where did the attorney part come in? Oh, yeah. Once it's time to start doing the suing, of which the mama went and made sure she filed them court papers on the day of the funeral. I mean, no questions on that, right? No suspicions on that. Nothing to say about that. That's okay. But make sure you hate Tatum for getting information from the people who are being accused by way of Ben the fuck Crump of doing something to Nolan without even knowing how Nolan freaking died. At all. Nothing.
Did they answer you or did they not answer you?
Well, they answered us on the last one and refused to respond to us. I mean, they refused to engage with us.
They don't owe you that.
Well, which is fine. Well, don't act like you're trying to get to the bottom of something.
So again,
don't act like you're trying to get to the bottom of something.
Don't do the thing to them that you are accusing other people of doing.
He said he's trying to get to the bottom of it.
Don't make assumptions that
I'm not
for them. No, you are. You're like, well, they're not doing this, and they're trying to.
They're not reaching out to the boys.
They have not spoken to you.
They haven't spoken to the
boys. Charles. In fairness, at least answer this question. If indeed it's to be found out that there's been no attempt by whether it's Sharpton or Benjamin Crump or anybody else to reach out to the actual boys who were supposed to be in attendance with Nolan Wells, as Officer Tatum just highlighted. Do you feel that that's the right path that they should be taking if they're raising suspicions, calling for a more thorough and open investigation, et cetera, and they haven't made personal attempts to reach out to these young men themselves? Do you think that that would be the right thing to do?
I can't think
to ask Officer Tatum's question.
Sure, I can't imagine that legal team would look.
I can't imagine. So, nigga, you don't know.
To bring a lawsuit without having attempted to at least try to get some investigative answers from these boys. Now, when in this process they do it is a different question, because at the end of the day, the more information you have, the more informed questions you can ask. And the chances are you're not going.
Oh, so you believe in questions? Oh, so you do believe in questions? Because clearly, when we ask questions, a lot of the community is upset with asking questions to get actual information. So he's just assuming, giving Ben the benefit of the doubt. Oh, isn't that nice? Shout out to the D9ers.
To get multiple bites at that apple. So from a strategic place, what I can tell you is that, yes, I would fully expect that at some point they would endeavor to reach out to these boys, but it may not be this point because they may be waiting for additional information so that they can actually ask better questions. They're not going to get...
Oh, they might be waiting for information to ask better questions, child. Any excuse is better than none. Cover for one another. Amazing. Great work there, sir. Great work. Shout out to the D9.
You're not going to get multiple chances to do it. So when you do it, you want to make sure that you're doing it the best way you can. And the only way to do that is to have the information that you need in order to ask the best questions.
Charles, they drug these boys through the mother freaking mud. They put their faces online. Benjamin Crump shared this video or this picture of them in a swimming pool. That happened. That event was a week before.
He absolutely did that shit. Did he come back and apologize for it? Did he come back and say that he was wrong? Did he come back and say, my bad? No, because he don't have to do nothing, because the colored community will go along with anything that these race grifters and these people that want to keep you so focused on everything being racist, and they got your best interest at heart while they go home to live amongst the same people that are so racist.
Okay, babe, I'm sorry. Simple. You know that I was not, but I never meant to do that way, but you never think of my feelings and you do them. You do know that I love you, but at the same time you dislike me, what good thing is you? At the same time I get angry and multiple and you don't care, well, but I do forgive you, but at the same time you don't. Okay, baby, I'm sorry. You gotta think of my feelings, but yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, why didn't he say that he was sorry? He apologized. I believe the post is still up. Just like the one with the y'all better get back to Nolan Wells and get your eyes off of fucking LeBron now that you know where he's at. Shout out to Philly though.
July 4th. He didn't do no due diligence to check with anybody before he started putting this stuff out there. Then what he do is he go, I had people saying that the argument was Nolan Wells asking for his phone back. He didn't talk to Tristan, who I interviewed. Tristan said on NBC, that was me, or ABC, that was me. That was not Nolan. But Benjamin Crump still, to this day, haven't came out and said, we found out that it was another young man. He pushed this stuff on these boys, and they're getting death threats. That stuff is not right. Benjamin should be more responsible. But the reason
I'm not here to talk about Nolan Wells' lawyer. I'm here to talk about why Nolan Wells is dead.
But let's get
Oh, now you want to try to move the subject back because you know Tatum is right about your mans. He's right about your mans, and now you want to pivot.
Let's get to the phones. The phones getting deleted because Al Sharpton came out there and said the mama had to go and search the phone down with GPS and Life 360. No, she didn't. The boys showed text messages, or the parents showed text messages of them communicating with his mom. She refused. And then they go and say they deleted. The boys say, the boys told me it could be not true or not. I don't know. They got to figure it out. They go, we didn't touch his phone. His phone went from the boat to the car with everybody else's phone. And when they came to get the phone, we got the phone out of the car and gave it to another young man's mom who came to get the other young man's phone. They said, we don't know Nolan's password. How are we getting his phone to delete anything? Now, why is
I want to know how anything can be confirmed been deleted when the phone ain't been to the phone company. I want to know how anybody can even confirm that anything has been deleted without having talked to the phone company. Because all she said was things seemed to be deleted because there was no Snapchat. Well, since the phone was on the boat, there was no snaps to be had. And then if you didn't get the phone for almost 24 hours later, or however long it was, maybe it was 6 hours later, and the phone had been on the boat all day because they left out or started around 9 a.m., then maybe there was nothing to be had on there. And again, anybody could delete anything. Let's just say maybe somebody deleted something, whoever it might be. How come y'all ain't gotten to the phone company yet? How come Ben Crump ain't asked nobody to get to the phone company to get the subpoena in order to get the information off of the phone to see what was deleted? How come they ain't giving the phone to the investigators yet? From my understanding, because they most certainly said we still got the phone at last I heard. So what's taking so fucking long? If you really want to know and you really want to give some shit up, give the shit up so it can be investigated. Carry your ass down there with the fucking phone and have somebody monitor, or you be down there monitoring, or you be down there with the DAs and the investigators and whoever the fuck it is that they're called. No, he ain't spending their bit of time down there. Near bit of time down there.
They're not coming on TV and saying there was no password, or they had to get through his phone.
Let me ask you this question. Based on your investigation, I'm asking you this. I'm thinking of any parent that loses their child wants to get to the bottom of it. They don't care if the villain is white, black, or whatever. Their child is dead. They want the culprit. So when you see Al Sharpton eulogizing and announcing that there's a $100,000 reward, when you see that Tyler Perry agreed to pay for the funeral and put up half of the reward, when you see guys like Spike Lee and Terrell Owens in attendance, and Terrell Owens, I think, dedicated $25,000, if I remember correctly, according to the reports that I've read, and you see Benjamin Crump in attendance, and you're talking about civil rights lawyers being in attendance, like you just pointed out. My question to you, Officer Tatum, and Charles, you can follow up based on the answer that he provides. My question to you is, why do you think the parents decided to go that route, Officer Tatum, based on your investigation in terms of allowing all of those folks to be so intimately involved in this situation? What are your thoughts about that? What comes to your mind, particularly based on your investigation, talking to the actual parties supposedly involved?
There's two thoughts that come to my mind. One is that Al Sharpton and Benjamin Crump are manipulating this family's trauma in order for them to make a crap ton of money. That's one. The second one is the parents trying to cash in on this because, and it's the reason why I say this. Why did Nolan Wells' mama say, I don't...
Hold on. Because people are starting to talk about Mrs. Walmsley. But let me acknowledge Trey with the jewels. A happy poop. I appreciate you. James, thank you so much for the gold coin. I appreciate you. He about to talk about the mama. And there's several people who are starting to talk about the mama. There's several people who are starting to talk about the mama. They got questions about the mama. Now, I don't know. There are some questions, but if she's being led by Ben Crump, that's why I say all roads lead to Ben Crump, me personally. I said, that's why I don't like all that touching on her and feeling her. I don't like that. That is eerie and icky to me. It looks weird. I don't know. And the father has been shut down. The stepfather, my bad. The stepfather has been shut down because he said that he don't think race played a part in it. And all these social justice warriors that are carrying on are all on board because they think that it's racism from the gate. No matter what, white person involved, that means it's racism. So then they say, if they open up the phone, if they open up the phone and they find out that nothing has been deleted, then what? If you're gonna come out here and say that the messages were deleted, you can't go by because there's no Snapchats. We know Snapchats disappear. Where is what makes you think that something was deleted? And yes, since we want to try to say all kids don't give up their phones, well, clearly when they go to Horn Island, they do. But all kids have passwords on their phones too. So how they get in it? Because that's a great question. How the hell did they get in it? So they're giving each other passwords because they're best friends? Oh, so if they got the password, then I guess that means that they really are best friends. But y'all don't want to admit that they're best friends. See how that works? Imagine if people had a lot of money. Imagine if people had a lot of the information. But get your mind, but those that's going to have issue, the trolls, he about to talk about the mama, it sounds like.
Is the parents trying to cash in on this because, and it's the reason why I say this. Why did Nolan Wells' mama say, I don't know these kids? These boys showed me pictures and video and texted them staying over his house, or at least the young boy Tristan staying over his house multiple times. She went to school with one of the other boys' mama graduated high school with her. They showed me the yearbook. Why is she saying this? Why Al Sharpton don't know this boy?
Yeah, now I didn't know that. So she been in Mississippi a long ass time. So the phenotype has been in Mississippi for a long ass time. Racist ass Mississippi, making a good living, a doctor at that. And whatever the stepfather does, y'all know what the stepfather does, because child, I don't even know. Child, what does the stepfather do? Because I'm tired of just acting like he don't do nothing. He has to do something. I feel like he's a car salesman, or maybe that was somebody else. I can't keep up. Harmonize, exactly. But nope, just say it's racism and that's what it is. That's it. Anyway. Come on, Tatum.
in order for them to make a crap ton of money. That's one. The second one is the parents trying to cash in on this because, and it's the reason why I say this. Why did Nolan Wells' mama say, I don't know these kids? These boys showed me pictures and video and texted them staying over his house, or at least the young boy Tristan staying over his house multiple times. She went to school with one of the other boys' mama graduated high school with her. They showed me the yearbook. Why is she saying this? Why Al Sharpton don't know this boy? Why is he eulogizing him at his funeral? Ain't never met Nolan a day in his life. You know why they say
he didn't. Let me just say he did because I can't say the word. He did a pep rally because he did a get everybody together rally. That's what that was. That was not a eulogy. That was not a eulogy. And no, that's why he was talking about him and the roaches. Now, why do I know this? Because it sounded crazy. And even the people in the comment sections of the views was saying the same thing. How is he making this about him? Oh, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to make it about them. Then it got to translate to the blacks so that they can stay on code, quote unquote. And then they can do what they need to do by staying on code. And that's what Ben is saying right here. Y'all better get y'all's asses back on code and only think about Nolan and only talk about Nolan and get your asses back to being out here about Nolan and get your mind off of anything else. Get your mind off of LeBron, the Sixers, the Lakers, any other sports. I'm assuming FIFA is over. I don't know. Tennis is about to come up. Don't worry about that. No sports for y'all. No going out to dinner. No going to the movies. What they want you to do is to make sure that you stay on code and only talk about Nolan. Oh, until it's time for y'all to start talking about Ruiz. Oh, until it's time for y'all to start talking about Carmelo again. Because I'm assuming he's going to get back to that. And yes, and Ben will get paid handsomely. He will go back to living amongst his white community while telling you coloreds that you got to be worried about white people. Miss me with all y'all's bullshit.
She went to school with one of the other boys' mama graduated high school with her. They showed me the yearbook. Why is she saying this? Why Al Sharpton don't know this boy? Why is he eulogizing him at his funeral? Ain't never met Nolan a day in his life. You know, why are they saying we're going to give $100,000 to somebody who gives us information to lead to an arrest? What if Nolan drowned? They don't care about him drowning. You know, and then also, why we don't do this for any other young men who have lost their lives at the hands of other people other than white people? Why we come together?
Charles, I'm going to give you the floor, Charles. Charles, I'm going to give you the floor in a second. But Officer Tatum, it's one thing. I want to make sure that I give you an opportunity to clarify. Because it's one thing to feel what you feel about Benjamin Crump, Reverend Al Sharpton, etc. It's another thing entirely to lump the parents who just lost their child.
But I know
it's talking about they're trying to profit.
I know
it's you sure you want to say that? That's what I'm saying. You want to say that?
Let me.
Well, now that's why I said the scrutiny is now turning around to the parents. Not even just here, but with other content creators. They off the grid now, it seems like, but then again, Ben is now down there with Ruiz. So maybe they ain't got time, but they certainly was paraded all over the world. NAACP convention, the Griot, all the morning shows, they should have spoke at the funeral, of course. But then all this attention, all this money, is a lot of money flowing. I got to check to see what a GoFundMe is. I'll do that for later.
Be clear about this. You asked me what my thoughts were. I didn't say that was facts. I just said these are my thoughts based on a few factors, right? Okay. There ain't no reason for Al Sharpton to be doing that boy's eulogy when Al never knew him.
That's not even your call or your business. But
what I'm saying is that if I die, my daddy,
that's you.
Let him speak.
If I get killed,
that family had a choice.
Why?
Why is that? They don't have to answer to you. That's not.
They don't. But I have an opinion.
That's that family. I don't even understand who that family chose to eulogize their fallen son.
What is any of black people? Y'all can play these games with your mom today. Y'all know damn well how black funeral goes. Black people, there are certain things that we all typically, for the most part, experience the same. And a funeral is one of them. And anybody who tries to sit here and act like that shit was normal, you out your GD mind. And then for the mama to then make sure after the funeral that she run on down to the courthouse so that she can file a lawsuit. Y'all gonna act like that makes sense too. You know, all the grieving going on. Make sure that all the celebrities get pointed out. Yeah, we got Spike Lee here. We got Terrell Owens here. We got this one here in the house. We got that. Sounded like a BET award ceremony. Y'all know damn well that ain't how black funerals go. White people, I don't know what y'all do. I don't know what nobody else do. But for the most part, that is not how we do it. And while you can, and we will invite people up there to say some words, to the deceased, right? That's what we do a lot of the times. You can come up and you can have a few words. The usher's gonna make sure you get 2 to 3 minutes, and then you got to go because we ain't got all day. And then you go sit your ass down, and the next person comes up. Whoever does the eulogy is someone that can attest to. When I was younger, we used to go and play on the dock of the bay and sing that song and go fishing, and it was a wonderful time. And I remember when he went to college, you didn't hear none of that shit. And for this nigga to be sitting up here acting like that makes sense, he's out of his GD mind. But then again, we are dealing with half Asian, whether y'all want to believe it or not. And actually, we don't know if it's half Asian because we really don't know what the real father is. Nobody seems to care about that. But I thought y'all supposed to be boycotting Asians, boycotting Target, boycotting Walmart. What else is there, child? There's so many boycotts going on. Can somebody give me an update on all the boycotting? There's too many to be keeping up with.
Your business to have any commentary about.
Well, you can't tell me that because it don't seem normal. It don't seem normal to me.
Anyone they wanted to.
It don't seem normal. It don't seem normal to me for a man that don't even preach sermons to do a eulogy for a boy that he didn't know.
Okay, we're going off the rails. We're going off the rails. We're going off the rails because Charles, I know you got to get ready to go. We're running out of time, so I'm just going to give this last question to both of y'all. Officer Tatum, I'm going to give you the word, and then Charles Coleman, I'm going to give you the last word. What are your expectations of what is going to come of this when all is said and done, based on the evidence that we know? Charles, Officer Tatum, I'll go with you first. Charles, I'll give you the last word.
And I'll try to make this succinct. I think we're going to find that the law enforcement agency did a fair investigation, that they did things right all the way through the process, and that none of this will lead to any of what Al Sharpton them said it was and alluded that it was, and they will get to the bottom of what happened to Nolan, and it will be clean, it will be professional, and it will be the same result without the interference with activists and people out here hoodwinking. I think that they're going to find out what happened to Nolan, and it's not going to be Al Sharpton, it's not going to be Benjamin Crump. It's going to be the law enforcement agencies that go out and do this stuff every single day, that does an investigation, that's going to be forensically looked through the cell phone, that's going to interview 60 people and find out what happened to Nolan. And they're going to be able to say, was it somebody that did something nefarious to Nolan? They're going to be prosecuted. If Nolan drowned, they're going to let the family know he drowned. That's going to be the totality of this investigation, which didn't have nothing to do with this race stuff and had nothing to do with these activists coming out and making money on the death of another black boy.
Charles, I'll give you the last.
You know what? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. In one instance, you coloreds will say, no, nobody get any coverage. Nobody talks about our pain and our tragedy. Nobody does anything for us because nobody cares. Nobody cares about black people. Everything we go through, this is a racist country. These are racist people. Nobody cares about black lives. People sitting up here trying to talk about the shit to get the information out. This is what you get. Y'all people are the same. You profiting off the debt just like everyone else. You accuse y'all bums. This is why black people don't get shit, because it's always, no matter what you do, it's a criticism, it's a problem, it's an issue. The real problem with this person right here is the fact that I'm not going down the, I know it's racist path. That's the real problem. So, child, let me tell you something. There's a lot of people that's doing that then. There's a lot of people doing that then. And, whatever. Think what you want. Y'all can think what you want. We know that the trolls are here. The only thing that you're looking for is for every black person to think the same. And every black person don't think the same. And you can have Ben Crump be y'all savior. Y'all can kiss his black ass. It's probably as black as the top of his head. Y'all go right ahead. Y'all want to sit up here and not listen to Tatum? Don't listen to him. Don't listen to the facts that he has, the proof that he has, because y'all so badly need a win. That's what it comes down to. I don't even want to hear from that other nigga. That's what it comes down to, is that y'all need a win so bad because you want white people to, so you can say, yay, that's why y'all love the OJ case, when y'all know damn well y'all didn't fuck with OJ after he was a football fucking player. Y'all didn't give a shit about OJ, but y'all, he won. So that's a win. Yay, black man got off. So you so fucking happy. That's why him bringing up Ben Crump bringing up Medgar Evers and Emmett Till, y'all, that resonates with y'all. That's why he can sit up here and say, get your fucking focus back on Nolan, because LeBron has been taken care of. So get your ass back on code and make sure that you go ahead and get your eyes back on Nolan. Now, mind you, he over there with Ruiz. I don't know where he stand on Carmelo, but all over the place. So it's racist to try to get the actual information that is true. It's racist because it looks like maybe the information from them white boys might be accurate. It's racist for people who are what did he call it? I forget what the Charles person called it, but basically after you're being accused of something and you're being put out there, it's racist when you can have the means to get a lawyer. That's racist. Everything is racist. That makes fucking sense. If black people had the money for a lawyer, which many do, I'm not saying that black people are all downtrodden. I just feel like a lot of y'all want black people to be downtrodden. But if it was reversed, which y'all like to say, then and a black person had the money and the means, they would do the same damn thing if they had any GD sense. Of course, that's what they would do. So be mad at them for having the means. But guess who else has the means? The Walmsleys. And before all this, they had the means. And they now have more of the means. Because now they're about to, they've already surpassed 1 million. Regardless of the GoFundMe, with everything, they've already surpassed 1 million. So if y'all think it's normal for whatever it is that Ben Crump says, then y'all go ahead with that. But that don't mean that we wrong with the way that we doing it. And that audio shit is about to be debunked as well. But we'll wait for that also. That's it. That's all. Because I got to go to work. Hit the like button. Hit the dislike button. It don't matter to me. Only subscribe if you are normal. If you are not, carry your troll ass on. Thank you all for all the views, because I do make money from views. So even you trolls, like I keep saying, welcome back. Shout out to Welcome Back Calder. And I'll see some of y'all in the...
And now another anti-ruckus rant brought to you by the community. Viewer and audio discretion is highly advised.
The community wants to take the word and hold up hoes, whores, OF people, people who put out STD named lip gloss, people who have slept with anybody and everybody at any time, people who talk about the AB clinic like they go into McDonald's, people who just say whatever comes to their mind, people who make songs about scamming, people who like people to pee on them, people who like to hang out with people that could be ABCD, but because they have enough money, it's okay. And then say that that's woman empowerment. So to be a whore is woman empowerment, and that's who runs the community. Y'all stand up for whores, and everybody's just supposed to go along with it. People like Tigger go along with it. Eddie Winslow, whatever his name is, allegedly goes along with it. And people are talking about white people are the problem. Colors, white people are not the problem. I don't care, say what you want, white people is not the problem with the community. It's the fact that black people listen to famous people with yellow hair, pink hair, blue hair, nose rings, eye rings, tongue rings, lip rings, cheek rings, throat rings, boob rings. That's the problem. Liberals, progressives, and Democrats, that's the problem. Unfortunately, it always comes back to political, because child man, none of these people have subscribed would be a conservative person, even though black people are supposed to be conservative. And I still would like someone to answer the question. I know it's not a video that people are liking. That's okay. It's still there to watch. Which ancestor would come back today and say, thank you all for continuing my legacy? Which one? Name them. Which one? Name them. Will come back today and say, you guys are doing a great job. Thank you for continuing all my hard work. You're doing spades, child. Y'all are doing spades. So glad that I risked my life so that you all could become fucking whores. Whores don't run my fucking life. They do not run me or my community. And I don't hang out with motherfuckers that don't make any sense. Y'all can have that shit. Y'all can listen to caricature all the fuck you want to. Fuck that nigga. You can listen to that funky tether over there that's telling you to your face that Democrats ain't done shit for you, and then turn around and say, keep voting for them. And then you want to turn around and act like white people are your problem when you got all these niggas in your face lying to you, and you still believe them. And then you'll make some fucked up excuse because you fucked up and say, but white people do it too. But black people do it too. And yet black bitches always looking at white people for what the fuck it is that they do, and then turn around and talk about racism. Make it make sense. I still ain't seen to where, child, what is her name? Blonde hair. Child, the ESPN ex-person, child. You know what I'm talking about.
In the state of Pennsylvania, politics can be